you haven't met me, my name is Bree. This is an all levels vinyasa. We'll be starting in a supine position. So come to your back body. And when you arrive on your back, either bring the soles of the feet together and your knees wide, or bring the soles of the feet wide and knock your knees in. So 2 different ways that you can open the hips through either internal or external rotation. Bring your arms way wide to a cactus or to a T shape, or one hand to the heart, one hand to the belly. And just take a moment to arrive on your mat and feel the weight of your body sink into the earth. Breathe a deeper, fuller breath. And as you breathe, notice where the breath is moving in your body. Stretch the breath deep down into the pit of the belly. And stretch the breath way out in front of you, so elongating on both the inhales and the exhales. And begin to let go of any breath you're holding in your lungs. HA. Inhale fully through the nose. Exhale completely through your mouth. Let it go. Begin to either bring your knees back to neutral, whether it's closing the legs or bringing them a little wider. Pull your knees in towards your chest and give yourself a little squeeze. Maybe you wrap your forearms around the knees, the shins, and just kind of lift up into a small little ball. Release your shoulder blades back down. Grab your kneecaps and create some big circles with your knees in one direction, massaging the low part of the back, the sacrum. And breathe. And then begin to rewind. Take these circular motions in the opposite direction. And pause. Reach your right leg up and enlace your hands around your right thigh. Stretch your left leg way out long on the earth and press your left thigh bone down into the ground. Press your right heel up towards the sky. Keep working your breath. Maybe start to tap into your Ujjayi pranayama. And again, actively kick your right thigh into your hands and at the same time pull the thigh back. Maybe you create some circles through your right toes in one direction. And take those circles through your right toes in the other direction. Bend your right knee, pull the right knee way and wide towards your armpit. Stay here or use your right hand and grab for your right foot, half happy baby. Your shin should be perpendicular to the ground. Pull your foot down as you kick your foot into your hand. Keep pressing your left thigh bone down, or if it feels a little tight, you can bend your left knee a little bit and ground your left heel into the ground. Stay here or pulse, expand out through your right knee joint and bend your right knee. So working through flexion and extension through the knee to open up through the inner thigh, your adductor muscles. Keep rooting down through that left thigh bone. And then bend the knee one last time. Pull your left knee in and guide your right ankle to land over the left knee. Interlace your hands around your left thigh. Use your right hand and press your right thigh bone away from you. Begin to enhance your breathing. Let the breath begin to inform you how the postures, the asana, feel. Each and every posture has a slightly different sensation behind it. And by breathing deeper breaths, you'll be able to feel whatever the benefits of the posture are to you individually. Now release your hands from your thigh. Now send your figure 4 legs over towards the left. Use your left hand to grab the right foot and send your right knee up towards the ceiling. You can also use your right hand to grab or the left hand, sorry, to grab the right ankle instead of the foot, whatever you can reach, and you don't have to do that. Keep the right shoulder blade rooted on the mat here. You'll notice this is targeting a slightly different space in the hips. Those of you that are way tighter in the hips, you probably really feel this. And if you're not feeling it too much, play with pulling the left knee up a little higher and actively pressing your right knee towards the ceiling. So not with your hand, but using the strength of the leg, the right glute and the right outer thigh to send the knee higher to the sky. Engage your legs, come back through center and unwind. Take any movements you like through your legs. And then just stretch both of your legs back out to long. And just notice if you feel a difference left to right, side to side. Reset, flex your toes back towards your ankles. Get strong through the legs. Reach your left leg high. Interlace your hands around that left thigh. And breathe. You can create nice big circles through the left toes if you did so on the other side. As you find strength around the legs, from the pelvis, expand out long through the bones of your legs, especially through that left heel. And breathe. And we're always breathing, but we're not always breathing with awareness. So each and every time I'm reminding you to breathe, well, yeah, of course, you're breathing. We all breathe. But can we breathe with an awareness that we have the capacity to breathe a much deeper breath than we do 90% of the time? Bend your left knee. Bring your left hand to the outside edge of your left foot. Half happy baby. Pull your foot down as you press your foot up into your hand. And then if you feel this right thigh kind of getting a little wonky and lifting up, try pressing it down, or again, you can bend the knee, ground your heel, and that will help send the head of your right femur bone deep into the hip socket to help ground through the right hip. Stay here in this half happy baby shape or straighten out through your left knee, bringing your foot over towards the left and then bend it back in. Moving through a little hip opener here, opening up through the inner thighs. Next time your legs comes back into that half happy baby shape. Pull your right knee in until the knee stacks above your right hip. Cross your left ankle over your right knee. Interlace your hands around your right thigh, or you could interlace your hands around the shin. So yogi's choice there. I did the thigh last time, and I'm interlacing around the shin this time, just to show you guys some different options. And breathe. Deep, full breaths. Breathe into the space in the hip. And just notice how your energy may shift throughout class, how you feel shifts when you start breathing and stretching and getting out of the head and really into your body. The practice of yoga is meant to bring us into a more present state. Begin to work yourself towards a moment of presence by grounding yourself through Ujjayi breath. Release your hands from your thigh or your shin. Send your legs over towards the right. Use your right hand to grab the left foot. Send your left knee towards the ceiling. Get strong through the left glute. And breathe. Find some strength in your core. Inhale, pull your legs back through center. Unwind through your knees, pull your knees in, give yourself another big squeeze. Now we'll wake up the core a little bit. Stack your knees to be about in line with your hips. Flex your toes back towards your ankles. Your shins will be about parallel to the ground. Pull the navel towards the spine so you feel your whole back pressing against the earth. When you do that, the hips, the bottom of the butt might lift a little bit. Now bring your hands to your thighs and press about 3 to 4 pounds of pressure each with your hands into your thighs and your thighs back into your hands. Working to strengthen through the core. If you'd like to intensify the abdominal activation, take a breath in and exhale, go contracting through the diaphragm. 2 more like that. Breath in and exhale. One more breath in. Exhale. Release your arms to a cactus or to a T shape. Inhale. Exhale, send your knees over towards the left. You can keep your knees bent or you can straighten them. That's your choice. Inhale, come back through center. Exhale, take your knees over towards the right. Inhale, come back through center. Don't let your thighs touch the ground. Exhale, take your knees over towards the left. Inhale, center. Moving nice and slow. Exhale to the right for 3, 2, 1. Inhale through center for 1, 2, 3. Exhale to the left for 3, 2, 1. Inhale to center for 1, 2, 3. And exhale to the right for 3, 2, 1. Come all the way back through center. We're almost there. Re-engage by pressing your low back into the ground because sometimes you can lose it. Stretch your arms towards your feet. Now lift your shoulder blades off the mat. That will help engage through the core. Bring your left wrist towards the right toes and the right wrist towards the left toes. And if you're like, Bree, I can't even get anywhere near touching my toes. That's okay. It doesn't matter how far you go. What matters is you feel your core engaging and really warming up here. My arm to leg ratio tends to be that I can reach past my toes with my arms. And so if that's not you, don't worry about what it looks like outwardly. Rather feel into what's going on inwardly and keep just those shoulder blades off the mat for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release your shoulder blades down, pull those knees in. Now bring your hands behind your thighs. Start to rock and roll a few times on your back. You're going to rock and get quite a bit of momentum. Ignore the puppy. And rock your way up to a forward fold. Ground your feet. When you land in forward fold, we'll make it a functional forward fold. So heel toe your feet as wide as mats, distance apart. If you have a block, great, grab it. Otherwise, bend your knees a little bit, send your hips back into space, and curl your fingertips forward on the block or on the earth. The block is designed to give you length. Not for necessarily your hamstring stretch, but for the length of the spine. A forward fold is a little bit of a rounding sensation, but this is a functional forward fold. So it's meant to be a little bit of a hinge to really decompress through the spine. Breathe more breath into the sides and that back body. Squeeze your shins in, widen your upper inner thighs back and apart. Inhale and halfway lift, glide your hands up your shins, lengthen through the sides of your waist. Exhale, fold. Press into the earth, inhale, halfway lift. Again, hold, pull the navel in, pull your thigh bones back. So all the rounding is removed from the spine here. Grab your hips, press down and out through the legs as you rise to stand. Step your feet back to hip distance apart. Tadasana mountain pose. Face your palms forward. Inhale, reach your arms all the way up high. Exhale, grab your right wrist side, but up and over towards the left. Engage through your legs. From the pelvis, press down and out through the legs. Come back through center. Switch your clasp and take your side bend up and over the other way. Inhale, come back through center. Exhale, cactus your arms and open up through the heart space. Inhale, pull navel to spine. Lift through the back side of your waist. Exhale, twist. Bring your left arm back, right arm forward, rotation. Inhale, come back through center. Exhale, twist, left arm back, right arm forward. Inhale, come back through center. Exhale, sink your hips low, chair. The obligatory chair pose always has to happen. If you don't like chair, don't come to my classes, because, or come, because you'll learn to like it. I did not like chair pose. Every time I heard my teacher say chair pose, Utkatasana, I was like, oh God, here we go, chair. But you'll learn that this is going to strengthen your glutes. Let your hips be heavy. Keep the weight back a little bit. Send your heels out into space. They're going to stay on the earth, but kind of drive them out to wake up through the hips. Pull the navel up and in. Take an inhale. Exhale, hinge at your hips, bound forward fold. Interlace your hands behind your back. Lift your shoulders up and drop your hands over your back body. Squeeze your shins in. Send your upper inner thighs way back, wide and apart. Release your hands. Inhale, halfway lift and lengthen. Exhale, folds. Press into your feet. Inhale, circle sweep, reach your arms high. Exhale, palms to heart. Begin to transfer your weight over towards your right foot. Pull your left knee in. Find a strong stance. From the pelvis, stretch down and out through the right leg. Breathe. Begin to move through a controlled warrior 3. Hinge at your hips. Bring your trunk forward and send the left leg back. The left knee can stay bent if you'd like. Begin to bend into your front knee. Ground your left toes and rise up to a crescent lunge. Squeeze your legs towards each other to find stability and make the legs hip distance apart. Take an inhale. As you exhale, bend your left knee to a little bit of a hover. Now your right thigh should be about parallel to the earth. And then send your left thigh back into space. So opening up through the hip flexor. 2 more. Bring your back knee to just that little hover and press it back. Last time, back knee comes to that little hover and then press it back. Now take an inhale. As you exhale, bring your chest to about a 30-degree angle. Arms come back, and as you do that, bend your left knee to the hover. Inhale, straighten out through the leg. Reach your arms high. See if you can do it all in one motion. As your chest comes down to 30 degrees, your left knee hovers. Inhale, reach it up. Last one, come down. I know that right leg is getting tired. And come all the way back up. Lower your left knee down to the earth. Squeeze your legs towards one another. You've made it low lunge. Floating half split. Bring your arms back into space. Point your right toes straight towards the sky. You can always ground your hands and modify. Otherwise, let it be a little balancing game. Lucy, no, go on. Sorry, guys. She's curious. Good girl. All right. Bend into your front knee. Ground your left hand. Reach your right arm high. Pull both of your shoulders back into space so you have rotation happening here. You are welcome to lift the back knee if you'd like and go for a little deeper expression of this posture. From the collarbones, expand out wide through your arms. Breath in. Exhale, bring your right hand down and straighten out through your right leg. Now we're moving this into a pigeon pulse. So come onto finger pads instead of hands. That's going to give you a little more lift. If you're using blocks, I recommend actually getting off of them so you have the stability of the earth. Heel toe your right foot all the way over towards your left thumb. So you kind of have, you're either on a tightrope or your legs are crisscrossed. Begin to bend into your front knee. Send the right knee way towards the right. You're coming to the knife edge of your right foot. And straighten and fold. 2 more like that. Inhale, pigeon pulse. Bring your chest towards your shin. And straighten and fold. Press the right big toe down. Last time, inhale, come forward towards that pigeon pulse. And straighten and fold. Come all the way forward now. Ground your hip and your shin. Squeeze the back knee forward and your front knee back. Inhale, lift up through your heart space. Exhale, fold, pour your heart down. 2 more like that. Inhale, lift, lengthen. Exhale, pour your heart forward. Last time, inhale, rise up. And exhale, fold down. Now you can either stay down and rest and stay here for a few breaths. You might want to just stay up and do an active pigeon. You can play with not using any hands at all and bringing your arms upright, pulling the navel in. You could also play with a thigh stretch, bending your knee and reaching your left arm around to grab for your left hip. Choose whatever variation of pigeon you're going for today. And take about 2 more deep breaths. Begin to release your foot if you had a thigh stretch. If you're folded, lift up through the heart space. Plant your hands and lift off your back knee, tuck your back toes, rewind. So use your hands until your foot can come on the earth. Heel toe your right foot all the way over and kind of sloppy, but step up, forward fold. If your right leg feels really kind of heavy or icky here, lift it up and give it a few kicks or shakes or circles through the knee to release tension that built up in that hip space. Release the right foot down, forward folds. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen through your spine. Exhale, folds. Press into your feet, inhale, circle sweep, reach high. Exhale, palms come back down to heart center. Anjali Mudra. Transfer your weight over now to the left foot. Spread through your left toes. Pull your right knee in. Find your balance. Pause here. Look at your drishti. As you feel stable, begin to hinge your hips back. Stay strong through the core. Your right knee can stay bent as long as you would like. Maybe you straighten out through your right leg, bend the left knee, and slowly lower your right toe down to the mat. Rise up, crescent lunge. Find your footing. Stack the front knee in line with the ankle. Squeeze your inner thighs towards each other. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, bend into your front knee until the thigh is about hovering. Keep your left leg as straight as you can and straighten the right leg. 2 more like that. Bend the knee and straighten the leg. Last time, bend and straighten. Now we'll add on. Inhale. Exhale, bring your trunk forward, bend the right knee to a hover. Inhale, come forward with your arms, or lift up rather, straighten the back leg. Exhale, bend your back knee to that hover. Inhale, come up. Last time, exhale, angled crescent lunge. Inhale, rise up. Slowly lower your right knee down to the ground. Low lunge. Squeeze your legs towards one another. And begin to take it back to a half split. Point your left toes straight up. And breathe. Spread through your toes, especially the ring finger toe and the pinky toe. Bend into your front knee. Bring your hands down. Lift off of your back knee or back foot, back knee, and tuck your back toes. Heel toe your left foot over towards the right. So you got that zigzag, that cross of the legs. Come to the knife edge, the left side of the foot as you come forward. Really flex your toes towards your ankle so you're protecting the outer ankle here. And straighten and fold. Stamp your left big toe down. 2 more. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, straighten and fold. Last time, inhale, come forward to your pigeon pose. Exhale, straighten and fold. And come all the way forward. Everyone, start with just an upright position to get the strength. Maybe you pull your left foot in a little closer towards your pelvis. Especially if you have tighter hips, that might be what's better for you. You can always tuck your back toes and walk your back knee back into space. Inhale, lengthen through the heart space. Exhale, pour your heart down. 2 more. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. And as you exhale, melt the heart all the way down. Come up through a pigeon if you're staying upright, or stay down for about 5 deep breaths. I'm going for the thigh stretch because I want to even out my other side. So if you did that on the other side, pull your heel towards your bum, grab your right foot, and practice wrapping your right hip forward. Now, if you have a block, you could have your hand on a block or your left hand on a block on the left side of your hip, or you can just rest your left arm on your left thigh. Really, what keeps you upright in an upright pigeon is squeezing the knees towards each other until you have a lift, some buoyancy to the pelvis. Begin to slowly make your way up if you're folded. Release your foot if you're not. Press your hands into the mat, ground your foot, and just walk your back toes in until you can land in a forward fold. And same thing we would if we were doing down dog. Just lift your left knee, create some circles or some kicks to release the tension that built up in the hip. And ground your foot next to the left. Inhale, halfway lift and lengthen. Exhale, fold. Press into your feet. Inhale, circle sweep. Reach your arms all the way up. Exhale, palms to heart center. Quarter turn on your mat to the long side of the mat. Doesn't matter which way, preferably so you can see me. And step your feet about as wide as your wrists. If you stretch your arms out wide as not your hands, but your wrists. So you want to have a wide enough stance that you feel like you are expanding, but also there's enough strength to hold the expansion. Take an inhale here. And as you exhale, hinge at your hips. Bring your hips way back into space. Bring your fingertips down to the earth. Now hinge your weight way back into your heels. This is still a functional forward fold here because same concept, the hands are coming forward and your hips are hinging back into space. Squeeze your shins in. Tug your left big toe towards your right inner heel and your right big toe towards your left inner heel. Amplify the posture with more breath. And just notice, how does the asana, the posture, feel as you begin to enliven it with your breath. When we breathe a deeper breath in certain postures, it's like we're breathing more life and more awareness into the posture itself. Begin to place your hands underneath your shoulders. Bend into your right knee. Think hips back rather than knee forward. And bend into your left knee. And the right knee. And the left knee. One more, right. And the left. Land back through center. Send your hips towards the right. And bring your left toes up for a little inner thigh stretch. Skandasana. You could release your hands. Ground your foot, send your hips the other way, send your left toes up to the sky, Skandasana. And come back through your wide-legged stance. Halfway lift, grab your hips, press down and out through your legs, stand all the way up, reach your arms out wide, Tadasana, starlight pose. Breathe. Pivot your right toes forward and bend into your right knee. Heel toe your back toes back a little bit into space. Gaze over your middle finger. Inhale, flip your palm, reach forward, and reverse your warrior. Lean back into space. Exhale, come to a side angle. Now you can rest your arm on your thigh. Option 2, half bind. So you'll bring your upper arm behind you, maybe to grab for the thigh, or you can full bind and come all the way down and grab behind your thigh for your opposite hand. In your side angle, press the back thigh back into space and wrap your bottom torso underneath you. Release your hands, rise up to a warrior two. Inhale, reverse triangle. Straighten out through your front thigh, engage through your front leg nice and strong. Hinge your hips way back into space. Reach your right arm forward. Once you can't hinge anymore, plant your hand outside your ankle. Reach your left arm up, pull both of your shoulders back. Focus on the expansion in this pose. So you have the strength. You already created it in reverse triangle. Keep that strength and stretch out from the pelvis down and out through the legs. Wide and long through your arms. Inhale, press down into the earth and reverse your triangle. Exhale, move through warrior two. Inhale, pivot your toes in starlight pose. Exhale, pivot your right toes out. Bend into your right knee, land back in warrior two on the other side. Gaze over your middle finger, press your back thigh back into space. Inhale, flip your palm and reverse warrior. Exhale, come to side angle. So you could just pause, resting your elbow on your thigh. Maybe you bring your upper arm around and grab for your hip, or a full bind, interlacing your hand behind your back. The trick here is when you have the bind, can you send your hips back into space, your back thigh back into space with internal rotation, while simultaneously widening your front knee towards the pinky toe. Release your hands, inhale and reverse your triangle. Straighten out through the front thigh and hinge your hips way back. Hinge, hinge, hinge until you can't hinge anymore, and plant your left arm outside of the left leg. Pull both of your shoulders back into space. Breathe. Inhale and reverse your triangle. Exhale, come back through warrior two. Pivot your toes in, starlight pose. Pivot your right toes forward, bend into your right knee, back to warrior two pose. Side angle, elbow comes towards the side. So you can stop at any point of the progressions here. Option to find that full bind again, you have to reach way down, your shoulders like touching your knee, and reach around to grab for your opposite hand behind your back. Then you can kind of come out of it a little bit. We're going to step up to bird of paradise. So step the left foot forward. Transfer your weight over towards your left foot, and I'll start to pivot so you guys can see me a little better. Stand down into your left foot, so engage to the left glute, and reach your right knee up. Maybe you stay here and just hold. This might feel like a lot. If you want more, you can straighten out through that right leg and wrap your right hip down into space. So you want to get your hips relatively neutral. And now, maybe you shift your gaze over towards the left. Rewind, so bend into your standing knee, ground your right foot, and step that left leg back. We're back to side angle. Release your arms, press down into the earth, come back through center, come to your starlight pose, second side. Pivot your left toes towards the back of the mat, bend into the left knee, warrior two. And inhale, reverse. Exhale, side angle. You're gonna find that full bind or half bind or not bind at all and just really work your side angle, or step up, bring your weight into the right foot, and I'll keep my left toes on the mat as long as I can to get that stability. Once I take off, you gotta push down and out through your standing leg and send your thigh bones back into space as you straighten out through the left leg. Once your left leg straightens, then wrap that left hip down to find strength. Pull your shoulders back, especially that left shoulder. It's gotta go way back, and gaze over the right shoulder. Bird of paradise. Bend into your left knee and your right knee. Ground your left foot. Step your right leg back. Reverse warrior. Come back to your warrior two. Pivot your toes in, starlight, and hop, step, or just walk your way back to hip distance apart. quarter turn towards the front of the mat. Inhale, reach your arms way up high. Exhale, sink low through a chair pose. And you've done this with me before, so you should know we're going all the way down until the hips touch the earth. Find your seat. You can use your hands to get there if you need to. As you land in a seat, bring the soles of the feet together and your knees wide. Grab for your feet. Lengthen through the sides of the waist. Take an inhale. Exhale, start to come forward, maybe. So option, you could stay upright and feel like you're getting plenty of a stretch here. Or you try to pull deeper and around. Start to rise up, working on one more hip opener here. Bring your right shin to be parallel with the long edge or the short edge of the mat, depending on which way you're facing. So really you want your knee and your ankle to line up with each other. And then your opposite foot will stack, ankle stacks on top of opposite knee. So this pose is called Agni Stambhasana, fire log pose. And it's not necessarily easy, so you can find props to support you. If your knee's like way up towards your chest, maybe you place a block, or you could do something a little more gentle like a blanket in between your right knee or your left knee and your right foot. And as you hold this, it might become easier and you might decide that you can actually move the prop out of the way if you are in fact using a prop. If it feels comfortable for you, you're welcome to close your eyes and breathe. Maybe you bring your chest a little bit more forward. Maybe you bring your forearms to rest on the shin for a little bit more weight going into the hips for the stretch. We'll be here for about 1 more minute, which is about 5 to 8 deep breaths. Slowly rise back up, bring your arms behind you, unhook the feet, get some wiggles out, maybe some windshield wipers over the knees. And then we'll just set up for the second side. Opposite shin is lining up with the front of the mat, and your opposite foot stacks on top of the knee. Again, your knees and your ankle are lining up with one another. Find whatever version of props that you may want. If you have blocks, I don't have mine pulled out right now, but you can also place blocks in front of you and rest your forearms on your blocks if that gives you a little more support. Maybe you use a bolster. And breathe. Sometimes when we come to a posture that is a longer hold, that's when the mind can really start to wander. And I think that certain amounts of wandering is good. That's what the mind is meant to do. I mean, the brain is literally for thinking. But the thinking can tend to spiral. So on your mat, maybe notice if you did start to wander and what it was wandering about. But then just gently guide yourself back without judgment to your breath, to your mat, to the posture in front of you. Take 3 more deep breaths here. Slowly start to rise up, unwind through your legs, and come back to being on your back body. Get to the floor however you would like. And once you arrive on your back, pull your knees in, give yourself a squeeze, maybe a little rock, and take a moment to check in and see how you feel. Maybe you want a happy baby or a happy baby prep, bringing the knees way and wide towards the armpits. Maybe your body wants a plow pose where you kick your feet overhead. Find something that is a neutral posture, a symmetrical posture to even out the asymmetrical hip stretch that we just did. Your choice. Take about 2 more breaths to experience whatever posture that is for you. And then you'll make your way all the way out to a Shavasana shape with your legs extended out long and your palms facing up to the sky. Take a big breath in and hold it for just a moment. Open mouth, HA. One more full inhale. Open mouth, big HA release. Give yourself the next few moments to just rest and be in your body for the next moment or two as you assimilate your practice here on your mat today. Shavasana.